Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
We are live.
Good evening, everyone. If you could let us know in the comments if we are live. Good evening, good evening. This evening, I am joined by Thomas Parkinson from Fast Track FBA. I'm sure you've all seen my posts, and there's no way I need to introduce Thomas Parkinson because I'm sure most of you already know who Thomas Parkinson is. In this interview tonight, it's not an interview, is it? It's not an interview at all. In this sort of, I don't know what it is. I don't know what we're going to call it. In this live tonight, we've switched it up, as you all know. So shortly, I'm going to pass over to Thomas to help me with my goals. So just to give you a little bit quick background before Thomas goes into it, I've been selling on Amazon for around about a year now. Sean says it's live. That's great. He's in Lidl at the moment. I've been selling for around about a year now, hit some good milestones for me, some of the goals that I had, but now it's time to sort of take it to the next level and also to just, really get a bit of my life back and sort of do what I can with Thomas's guidance. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Thomas now, and this is, over to you, Thomas, all you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson. I do my usual introduction. I've been selling on Amazon about 4 years, and I run a business called Fast Track FBA. We basically support Amazon sellers, leads, and VAs. I do, should we say, coaching, and coaching is probably a bit of just a word that I would use. It's like supporting Amazon sellers, it's using an element of supporting them and also talking about my journey and using the knowledge that I've learned. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but supporting other Amazon sellers. Now, Hayden very, very kindly today has asked me to come join you guys, obviously, in his channel. And the big question came about, what should we do? Now, obviously, I can sit here and talk about my Amazon journey and do that. I think some people might know, and it might not be that great. And we thought, what could we do differently? And my kind of question I always kind of ask people is like, how can I help you? Like, how can I add value to you or what you're doing? It doesn't really matter about me. And I said, hey, why don't we do I call it a coaching session, a session to support Hayden in taking him from where he is today and to where he wants to be. And this is a journey that I've done with lots of people. And I'm not saying I'm an expert, and I'm not saying I'm even qualified to do this or even trained. But I like to have these conversations with people, and I like to support them in that process and support them in organizing their business. Why? Because myself, I have 2 businesses. Obviously, my Amazon business and Fast Track FBA. In my Amazon business, I have 6 VAs. In my Fast Track FBA business, we have 24, and a few. And I like to think that I'm okay at managing businesses, running them. I've done it in the past in previous jobs, but also I built that from nothing, 2 businesses to there. And I'm not saying that I'm successful by any stretch of the imagination, and there are people far more successful than I am. But if I can help other people achieve what I've achieved, i.e. running a team who do your Amazon business, also as well running that in a couple of hours a week. I mean, I pretty much do 2 hours a week. Sometimes I go up to about 4. It's pretty much 2 day to day. And then also as well, I get to travel the world. So just this year, and remember COVID's been this year, so I've been to Vietnam, all the Philippines, Thailand, Lithuania, UK. I just spent 2.5 months in Gran Canaria, and right now I'm back in the UK, and also whilst running 2 businesses. So it's not saying I'm successful, that's a bit about me, but it's like, how can I help other people? And today I'd very much like to say, Hayden has reached out and said, hey, can we do something a bit different? I was like, cool, let me help you in your journey. And what I will just add to the end of this, 2 things. Number 1, there's not going to be some kind of offer at the end where you get discounted coaching with me, some certain upsell, not at all. If you want to know, I charge £220 per hour for coaching, not for the fact that I think I'm worth that much, because I charge that much because that's how much I value my time, and I really like to invest in my business, and that's investment in growing. But also as well is to say that the conversation we'll have today can be quite personal. I'm not just so much about do this, do this, do this. I'm more about trying to understand your why you want to do something. And Hayden and I have been talking about that beforehand. So sometimes I might not go into as much depth as I'd probably like to, because I'm just careful of that. It can be quite sensitive. So I don't, no pressure for him, but I do just want to say that, he's doing this live. And hey, Hayden, thank you so much, because how many people are in your business right now wanting to grow the business scale and maybe get where you want to be. So first things first, from me to you, thank you. Honestly, it's really nice to share this and obviously to have this conversation and be part of that conversation supporting your audience. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. Really looking forward to it. There's loads of people on this live tonight at the moment, and obviously loads are going to watch on the replay on YouTube. So it's going to be good. Obviously, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit sweaty. It's going to get, it's going to be raw, but it's going to be good. So go ahead.
So I think, look, first things first, if I just kind of explain to people, what do I generally try and do? And I'll try and explain what I'm doing first, and then we'll go through it all. And the reason is the whole process you can pretty much do yourself. And it's a really important piece. I pretty much ask, first of all, what do you want? Because that's what we know. Hey, I want to make £1 million, for example. The next process I really try to dig into, and I spend a lot of time here, why? Why do you want it? That's a really important question. And we'll go into that, but quite simply, if you understand your why, then that's the motivation behind what you want. And then I always come back to what do you want again? Why? Because quite simply, if what you think you want isn't aligned with your why, then it might be better to tweak that slightly to make it more aligned with what you're really after, and you're more likely to achieve that. And then what we'll try and do is create a step-by-step plan to support Hayden in that process. So no pressure, and I can't guarantee we're going to even achieve anything. It might just be a conversation. But obviously no pressure at all on me or you, Hayden. But that's pretty much the 4 steps. What do you want? Why? What do you want again? And then let's create a step plan. Make sense?
Makes sense. Look forward to it.
So obviously, first things first, obviously, thank you very much for joining me today in this call. I think my first question I'll probably ask you is, how can I help you? What do you want?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm at the sort of I'm grateful to be at the stage I'm at. Business is doing just hit the sort of 6-figure mark, which is great, but it's got to the stage where it's really bad in terms of admin. It's really bad, and I don't really know how to move forwards to actually scale to the next level, whilst also maintaining a life on the side of Amazon. Basically figuring out how to get my business to the next level, get the right systems in place, and scale it accordingly, really, in the right way.
Okay. So you talked a little bit there about scaling your business. If you don't mind me asking, you said you just hit 6 figures. I'm going to just assume £100,000. You talked about scaling. What does that look like to you? What is scaling?
Scaling to me is building a team, a reliable team that's going to be there for me, and obviously me there for them, building a business together, supporting each other, getting to the next level, but also getting to the stage where I'm not working in the business, I'm working on the business, and can actually take a break from the business if I want. So completely outsourced with a manager. I don't even want to be known as the CEO. I would like to replace that and actually just be, I don't know what you'd call it, the chairman or something like that. Just, the level where I just have an overview on the business, but I want everything outsourced.
Okay, fine. So let's just kind of go through, you talked about scaling a team. I'll come back to that in a second. Time's obviously a really big consideration. You talked about kind of like working on the business, in the business, having a life. Let me ask you, between now and achieving that goal, in regards to describe what that looks like to you. What does I have a life? I'm working on the business. I'm the CEO. What does that look like? Tell me about that.
I've got a few plans, and by no means do I want Amazon to be the main center of that plan and my only focus. Being free, financially free, and time free, and geographically free, just to be able to travel the world at the same time as building the business, and as I say, having the financial abilities to be able to do that. That's what it looks like to me, and then to be able to also work on some more sort of passion-based businesses, because business in general is a passion of mine, helping others as well, things like that. Having the ability to basically do what I want with my time. That's what it looks like to me, I think.
Cool. So let me ask you a question. You talked about 2 things, money and time. Let's just define it. You talked about earning money. How much do you want to earn? Let's put it out there. From your Amazon business.
Just from the Amazon business?
Just the Amazon business, that's it. Give me a number.
Amazon, I would like sort of consistently net profit of, I don't want millions, net profit, 4,000 or 5,000 net profit in the UK, and then replicated in the USA as well as a different income stream.
And if I just clarify, are you selling on the US at the moment, or is it just the UK?
Just the UK at the moment, Q1 USA. Yeah.
So if we stick with just the UK for the moment, and the idea is if you do this in the UK, you should be able to replicate the same process again in the US. Doing it once easy. Okay, so let's call it £4,000 per month. Is that right?
Yes.
Success is £4,000 per month. £4,000 per month. Now let's just talk about time. Tell me, you're CEO of the company. Well done, honestly, man on fire. What does that look like to you? How many hours a week are you working, or even a month are you working in this business?
I think a week I could manage doing 4 hours a week, just to make sure that everything's running clockwork. As I said, I would like to have someone, maybe even in the UK, as my sort of CEO, whatever, to make sure it's all running consistently and growing consistently. Maybe 4 hours a week, mainly just to be coaching that person that's the CEO. Yeah, so 4 hours a week, I'd say, I could just about stretch to.
Okay, so if we clarify, for your Amazon business, I just want to make sure we're aligned here.
Yeah.
You want to be, and we're just looking at the numbers here, making 4K a month net profit.
Yep.
And in that, you're doing it 4 hours a week.
Yeah. So that's net after everything. Not
Yeah.
Okay,
fine. You mentioned you had, should we say, you mentioned kind of like building a life, doing other things. One element I kind of ask, because obviously I do this as well, is like, do you need to be location independent, or does that matter, or can you be fixed?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Do you want to be location independent? Do you want to travel?
Right, sure. Yeah, I want to travel for the next 2 years whilst I'm travel and save whilst enjoying myself. Yeah.
So if I just clarify what you're really after, very, very clear. You want to get to, so if I say, hey, if I can make this happen tomorrow, you're going to say, Tom, you've achieved your result. This is what I'm really happy with. £4,000 net profit per month, 4 hours a week, travel the world. That's it?
Yep.
Anything else?
Not within my Amazon business, no. That's perfect.
Okay. So quick question for you. So if I just write that down and travel, that's fine. Okay, so let's just talk through 4,000 a month. Why 4,000 a month? How do you come up with that number?
It's the number for me to be able to still save whilst living, and then save towards a mortgage. And then once I've paid that, once I've got the mortgage in place, it means that I can also pay that off whilst. I don't live like a lavish lifestyle, so I don't need loads. But for me, that's the amount that I can still save with whilst continuing to build, basically, and to travel, I think.
Okay, so question for you. Quick question is, what I'm just hearing straight away is there's a question around traveling. You want to travel, but we haven't defined yet how much that costs. So there's a question there, and I'm not saying we've got to go into it. And the reason why I'm asking this is because your reasoning for £4,000 is because you want to pay the mortgage, you want to survive or live, should we say, and travel. And I'm not saying £4,000 isn't the right answer or the wrong answer, but once you have clarity on exactly, okay, my traveling is going to cost £2,000 a month, my mortgage is going to cost £1,000 a month. Actually, I only need £3,000 a month. And you're like, actually, that starts changing the question. So I'm not saying the 4,000 is wrong, but what I really want to say is just be aware of why you're looking for what you're looking for. And it's always good to go away after a session and have actually, let's go break down those parts and to say, is that really what I want? And if you can make it more, if you actually realize you can do it for less, then you can achieve your goal so much quicker. And at the end of the day, we want to achieve a result. It's the result that we care about. Okay. So the question I just kind of asked you is, you talked a bit about time, and I'm not going to go too much into money, by the way, too much, but we'll come back to that in a second. You talked about time, 4 hours a week. Why 4 hours a week?
4 hours a week is what I would like to get to spend on the Amazon business, mainly because I want to work on other projects. Amazon for me is just one income stream. I don't want to be able to work on other projects with the other time. 4 hours a week seems doable once I've got someone else doing it. Basically because I want to work on other income streams as well and not fully rely on Amazon. and travel and enjoy myself. So.
Okay. So a question I'd always ask everyone is, if you don't want to do Amazon, why are you doing Amazon?
I do want to do Amazon, but it's just one income stream.
Okay.
No, I do want to do it. I love my Amazon business, but it is just I'm aware of the fact that I shouldn't be solely relying on it because of I don't think I should be, even though there's some people that do.
So the reason why you're looking at doing something else is because of the risk of Amazon. Would that be right?
No, that wouldn't be honest on my part. It's partly that, because it's a smart move to have multiple income streams. I suppose the real reason I want to do something else as well as Amazon, probably, if I'm honest, it's probably because of it's I don't know. I feel like I want to achieve a lot. And if I got my Amazon business to 8 figures, I still don't think that would fill the part of me that wants to achieve that big thing. It's not what success looks like to me, having an 8-figure Amazon business. I don't know why. It's just not. So that's a really interesting question. Yeah.
You've just asked your next question that I'm going to ask you.
Wow.
What does success look like to you?
Success to me, and what my main business goal is, I've got it on a whiteboard here. As I mentioned to you before the call, I've got a whiteboard with my goals, and my biggest goal, it's sort of a multiple of goals, but it is to be a really well-known entrepreneur in the UK. One of my biggest goals is to be a dragon on Dragon's Den, to actually be a dragon, and I want to write books. I want to public speak. I want to be a sort of figure in business in the UK, and I don't know why I want to achieve that, but that's always been my goals, to be known, and personal development stuff as well, but businessy sort of thing. So
okay, interesting. And hey, we had this conversation off air, and I could delve massively into the life questions around, like, why do you want to write books? Why do you want to do that? I think the one thing which kind of brings me back to think about is, and you said it yourself, if I had an 8-figure Amazon business, it wouldn't feel successful to me. So what does that tell me? That tells me that once you've reached that 4K per month net profit, you're done. You're happy. Like, whether you go 4K to 10K is just more money, but it doesn't mean any more happiness. It doesn't mean that you are going to be more successful. And if the business does it itself, great, not a problem. But if it means you putting in more effort to take it from 4 to 10K, that's probably not going to be a good use of your resources, time. Would that be right?
Yeah. That's what I've capped it at 4 or 5, but 4, just because it's something that I know I can live off. I know that I'm going to be building other income streams as well, so I know I can live off it, and it's something I'm comfortable with. Money is not my main driver. I'll leave it at that. Money's not my main driver, but it's funny because it's so closely related to my biggest goals in life. Yeah.
So, question for you: when you hit 4K, what do you want to do next?
Build other income streams.
And 4 hours a week. What do you want to do? Just if you're happy to share, you don't have to.
No, I can share. Yeah. So in my head, the clearest path to me is to build other income streams around Amazon, to make more money, even though I'm not that bothered about making more money. It's funny. I'm just realizing this as I'm answering this. To make more money in other income streams, just to have the multiple business experience, to have the multiple businesses, multiple income streams, USA, UK. I've got it all on my board here. I want to build my social media presence up, which I'm sort of trying to do at the moment on multiple sites. I'd like to launch a business. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I want to create a business in the UK that becomes a very well-known business in the UK, but I'm just not quite sure what that is yet. So before that, I'm sort of, I'll be focusing on building a strong base financially, and other areas, basically, so that I can focus on finding the thing for me to focus on. So a little bit lost, basically.
Hey, great question, or great feedback. And the one thing I'll say is I speak to people all the time, and one of the things they can say is like, "Hey Tom, I want to make £1 million revenue." We had this conversation before. And the point is like, why? Like, really, why? And if you understand what you're trying to achieve or the why, then you can really say, actually, I might do things differently. The reason why I asked that question, and the question I'm asking you is like, let me ask you this question. Let's say, for example, tomorrow, you're now 4 hours a week. You are now 4 hours a week. You're now 4K profit, net profit per month. Fantastic. What would you do first in order, top 3 things? You've got quite a big list.
I would get the USA up and going first.
Cool.
Just because it's been my goal for some time, and I would enjoy it. So get the USA up and systemize straight away. It's one of my main plans. So I would not be working on that much at all. I want to get that systemized as soon as possible because it just seems, yeah, I like the idea of it.
I'm not reading the comments, by the way. I have no idea what the comments are because they're going to just distract me from thinking. So
yeah, no, I have a little look, but I'm not. I don't know. I would focus on my sort of social media stuff, but right now, as I'm saying this, I don't know why. None of that feels like it's what I should be doing. I'll be honest.
Okay. By your reaction that you're reading the comments, I'm probably going to say I won't go delve into too much. I'd probably delve into a lot more about like why do you want to do these other things. Now you might kind of think this is going off Amazon, but the reason why I'm asking this question is right now you're going through a journey from today to where you want to be, £4,000 profit, 4 hours a week. Quite simply, you've already demonstrated or you've already explained that you want to build a social media presence, you want to do Amazon USA, you want to systematize, you want to kind of share, should we say. And what I'm trying to think about for you is to say, not just, hey, I want to build my Amazon business to 4K. Like, no, I'm on this mission. I'm on a mission to document the hell out of this, to build these systems. Why? Because I'm going to talk about that process as I'm doing it. I'm going to share it on my social media. I'm going to build that. But also as well, I'm building my blueprint, my framework. And then once you've built that framework, you are then going to go to the USA, literally prove how good it is, or if it's not, let it fail and figure out why, and then obviously do it again. And you talk, and hey, I see similarities in what you're saying versus what I've done or what I'm doing, should we say. And what I'm really trying to look for are, can we achieve things within your Amazon business, but also as well support you in the greater goals at the same time?
Yes. And
the reason why I say that, and I come back to it, is because of your why. You've demonstrated already that the Amazon UK business isn't really your passion. It's not my God, I wake up every day and I'm so happy. Yeah. But what you might think about is actually, if you can tie in what you want to achieve at a greater goal with, i.e. documenting, social media, building out the framework, systematizing, build that into your Amazon business every day, now it's probably going to get you out of bed. Not because it's the Amazon business in the UK, because my God, I get to document, I get to build this great thing, I get to talk on social media, I get to make YouTube videos about it. Like, this is my dream, this is where I want to be, and I'm living it every single day. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense, yeah.
I don't know if I've lost you, but that's fine. And hence why I'm kind of going down that. So if I kind of bring it back, if I kind of just think about the one thing that you're kind of thinking of is right now, and I'll come back to where you are now, as it's where you want to go. So 4K profit, 4 hours a week, also as well building a US business. And you talked about social media as well, so talking around that. Is there anything else that might be similarities into what you're trying to achieve in the short term, which is your Amazon business?
No, I don't think so. I love writing and speaking, but I've always felt like that's something I've got to do later on once I've, I don't really know what the right word is, proved myself enough in business, got the credibility enough to sort of write books and speak on stages and stuff. So yeah, but probably can't relate now.
It's an interesting question. I'd always ask the question, at what point have you proven yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, because I've just answered to myself that money isn't my goal, but a lot of people to get to 4,000 net profit a month is a huge goal. So, yeah.
And hey, it might be the case you build an 8-figure Amazon business but you might be, and I'm not saying you are, but you might be awful at teaching other people how to do it.
Mm.
And while you've proven that you can do it, it doesn't mean that you can help other people. And I'm not saying, hey, I'm any good. I'm not saying I can help people at all. But it's just interesting, like how the words or the language that you use that can limit what you're saying. And I'm not saying you, but we do it. We do it as humans. It's very natural. Okay, cool. So let's just define. Goal is £4,000 profit per month, 4 hours a week. We kind of defined that the why behind that, if I'm right, is around, you said it's about proving it to yourself, proving that you can do it, building credibility, but also as well scaling it and talking about it in the social media sense, becoming that entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think the reason behind that is so that I can work on other income streams, and then ultimately get to the stage where I'm stable, I'm comfortable, I've achieved, and now I can figure out what on earth to do with the rest of my life, which isn't necessarily the right place to start. It's not starting with why necessarily, is it? But I think I've learned in all my past businesses, a lot of them have failed. A lot of them weren't right for me. I think I've learned a lot from them, that building a base is the most important thing for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And hey, anyone who's been successful has failed. Yeah. Failure is just a fall on the road to success.
When I say fail, the only reason they failed is because I didn't stick with them. So I had relative success, but I just didn't stick with them. So yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So question for you is, let's just ask the question, 4K net profit, 4 hours a week, two things I probably want to understand. How quick do you want to get there? Or how quick do you think you can get there? Let's ask that question.
I think I can be there in the UK by the end of next year.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I've probably suppressed it this month, but I've done it all myself. I've probably made that net profit this month, but and not quite last month, but that's myself. So I need to obviously deduct all the staff fees. So I think end of next year is a realistic goal.
And can I ask a question? Where are you now? And obviously, you don't have to answer that, because I appreciate you're sharing profitability figures, and a lot of people don't like to share those figures. So the question I'm trying to ask now is, on average, a typical week, and I appreciate Q4 is different, how many hours a week are you working? And then also as well, net profit.
Okay.
And
it is tricky you say that, because I know it's Q4, but my figures have been, in some cases, tripling every single month since because I've just invested more and just got to know it a lot better. So my graph from once I've started literally goes like this. So it's really hard for me to give you a reflection of the last 6 to 12 months, because I simply haven't been in business long enough in this business to reflect that. But what I can tell you is what I've sort of done for the last 3 months. And this month net profit, but this is before VAT. So this isn't, this is sort of before VAT. It's probably around about 5,500 net profit after everything. But then I've got to take VAT off that. So I don't know. And then last month, after everything was around about 3,000 net profit, maybe just below. And then just before that, I think it was 2,300 net profit. So it's really been gradually getting its way up. And when I say net, that's, them ones are literally after everything.
My God, at this rate, you'll be there by June, and you won't, stop the call now, we're done. That's it. Yeah. Hey, first things first, well done to you. Obviously I've been following your journey, and I think it's really, really impressive, obviously, what you've come from and where you're going. And hey, profit figures speak for themselves. Honestly, fantastic. Take my hat off. Honestly, really, really well. Just looking at your figures, it kind of looks like profit's not going to be a problem. Is that right? Do you feel confident you're going to hit 4K profit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't. By when did you say?
I don't know. You said end of next year, but by the looks of it, I reckon you'd hit it within a couple of months, pretty consistently at this rate. Yeah,
but it's having a team to do it for me, isn't it?
That's time. So we'll come back to that in a second.
Oh,
but if you went on, the profit doesn't seem like it's a problem for you. You're quite happy.
I don't think. No. Not since I've implemented everything I've learned. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How many hours a week are you working?
A lot.
Go on, scare me.
every hour that I'm not doing something else, I'm working. I rarely have any time off, so it's literally I wake up in the morning, have my breakfast, start around about I don't know between. I'll be honest, because I haven't had much motivation because of the virus. Nowhere's been open. I've been starting work at like 8:30, 9. And then I literally work all the way sometimes till 10, 11 at night. And don't get me wrong, I'll have dinner within that time, maybe go to the gym, go for a walk, but generally I don't really stop. There's no set routine there, which obviously I don't like. Yeah.
If I had to ask you to quantify it, what would you quantify it as in a typical week? How many hours would you work normally?
It's got to be plus 50.
60?
Between 50 and 60, I would say.
55 it is.
That's not to say they're definitely not all 100% focused. They're sort of, yeah.
Let's break it down. So 55 hours a week. What are you doing in 55 hours a week? Give me the breakdown.
Everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
I do everything in the business at the moment. So, and at the moment I'm trying to outsource, get systems in place for the VAs that are coming on board. So I'm trying to systemize whilst doing every other thing. A bit of manual sourcing, not really, more just purchasing loads of deals every day, pretty much most days. And at the same time, I am doing my social media stuff. At the same time, I'm building this group and sort of contributing to this group. At the same time, I am doing just everything to do with shipments, everything to do with Amazon, all the boring admin stuff in Amazon. And at the same time, I'm also sort of planning the USA. So I don't really have, it's everything. It's a mess.
Okay. And it's interesting you use the word "the mess" there.
Yeah, at the moment.
And if you don't mind me asking, and the reason why I just kind of pick up on that is you mentioned it. You want to do Amazon USA. You sound like you're doing something now, and it's kind of into using the time that you're spending in your Amazon UK business. Would that be right?
Sorry, say again.
So in your 55 hours a week, you're doing all your Amazon UK business, and you're also doing a bit of Amazon. You're thinking about USA and that. Is that right?
I have been planning that, yeah, for the bar the last week. I've been sort of planning the USA, doing my research, all that sort of stuff, and then social media.
Why are you doing Amazon USA now? What's the reason behind it?
Quite frankly, the earning opportunity seems a lot more straightforward, and the earning potential seems a lot, dare I say, easier than the UK. I don't think you have to scale to the same size, and I feel like I could outsource it pretty quickly. Now, obviously, I don't know the truth behind that yet, but that's what it seems to be. I've done a lot of research on it. That's what it seems to be. So it seems like the next best move in terms of. Yeah, it just seems like the next right move. I'm not sure why I'm doing it in Q1. I could leave it to Q2, but it just seemed right to start the new year off.
Can I ask a question? You want to start Amazon USA and then you want to outsource it. Is that right?
Yes.
What do you want to do in your UK business?
Outsource.
Yeah. So, quick question. Is it going to be harder to outsource two businesses at the same time than it is to outsource one at the time?
Absolutely. What do you think? Yeah, two. Yeah. So I need to outsource the UK first.
Yeah. And hey, quick question. Go on.
I naively thought in my head that I would have all this done by January, like basically New Year after Christmas, and I haven't even realised that that's not going to happen until you just said it. So sometimes you just get so caught up in your own head, don't you? Yeah, so I need to not touch the USA until I've outsourced this, basically. You're right.
And hey, we all have these ideas in our head how long things take, and they take so much longer. But also as well, what you're about to go through in the UK is exactly what you're going to do in the US. And if you're having to do it twice at the same time, you're going to probably make double the mistakes, and it's going to take you 4 times as long.
Yeah,
you might as well just focus on one, get it done, prove it works, fix the bugs. Copy, paste, done.
Yeah. I just thought in my head, oh yeah, it makes sense. Let's start in Q1, but it's just not right. It's not the right time. That makes a lot of sense.
So quick question for you. Let's go back to 55 hours a week. Just can you give me the breakdown? How many hours do you think you spend sourcing? How many hours do you spend analyzing? How many hours do you spend purchasing, admin, etc., etc.? Just if you had to quantify it.
Admin is at least 2-3 hours a day. Purchasing is at least an hour and a half a day, 2 hours a day. And then I do social media, which is probably, I so much hate to admit this, making videos and doing Instagram and doing Facebook and everything. It's probably an hour and a half. If I put together all the little bits and a day, because sometimes quite replying to questions and stuff in the group, trying to grow a group as well, and then I'm working on. I spend a lot of time taking a step back and thinking about, am I doing the right thing? That probably takes me an hour a day. I do it most days now. I just take a step back to make sure that I'm on the right path. And then the other time is still spent on things like repricing, things like, at the moment, in which I have been figuring out how I can stop working so much on the business. Trying to systemize. And then quite frankly, quite honestly, I also spend a lot of time dithering around, I think. So like just checking sales, looking around, pretending that I'm busy, I suppose, just to fill up that time. Yeah.
If I break it down, I'm just going to repeat back to you. Admin, 10 hours a week. Purchasing, 10 hours a week. Facebook, 10 hours a week. Reflection, 5 hours a week, 1 hour a day. I've currently got 35 hours out of 55 hours. We're missing 20 hours somewhere. I don't think you can do it for 20 hours.
The weekends?
Yeah, you're telling me you work 55 hours a week. I've accounted for 35 of those 55 hours. We've still got 25 hours left. Do you know what you do? Or is it all the stuff that we said, we just underestimated it?
Probably all that stuff. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's stuff. And as I say, quite honestly, a lot of it is just stuff that probably doesn't need to be divvied around about. You know what I mean? I need plans in place. I need structure, probably routine.
If you don't mind asking, do you struggle with structure at the moment?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, routine, structure, all over the place. This is. I'm sort of hoping that will get better once I've, that's why I'm trying to create more structure and outsource the business so that then I can start implementing more structure in other areas of my life. But yeah.
It's very normal. Can I suggest two things? Number one, do a time audit. I hate doing these. They're a bit annoying. Every 15 minutes, just get a notepad and one day, just do it for one day. Write down what you're doing. It doesn't matter, like, I'm drinking a coffee. Okay, I'm drinking a coffee. What you're going to do is just over the course of the day, you're going to record what you're doing at that time. It doesn't matter if you're doing anything. Like, I'm literally doing nothing. That's fine. Just be honest with yourself. And you're going to look back and go, oh, I thought I was going to spend like 2 hours doing this, and I only actually spent 30 minutes, and I spent an hour and a half doing nothing. And it's the reality of the situation that brings it into light. So number one, understanding what the reality of the situation is right now. Time audit, very, very useful. You might do that once a week, for example, for a month. That's going to be quite helpful. Number two is I'm religious about this. Every Sunday I sit down, I think about my goals, where I want to be, and I literally plan out my life in my calendar. And I mean, I plan out my life to the point where I'm saying what time I'm waking up, when I'm eating, and when I'm sleeping. And the reason why literally when I'm sleeping is in my calendar. It's crazy. Admittedly, that came from being in Vietnam and people trying to book in calls while I was asleep. So I was like, I had to book in sleeping. I've just carried on. But the reason why I say that is money can be earned again. You can hire staff, you can do businesses, but you'll never get your time back. It's the one finite resource that always goes. And if you're very intentional about what you're trying to achieve, i.e., let's say, for example, you understand in a typical 8-hour day, I waste 4 hours of it. My time audit tells me that. Then be like, cool, let's just book in 4 hours of solid work. Only that. But I start at 8. I do this for the first hour, and you know when it starts and when it finishes, and you know what you need to achieve in that 1 hour. Maybe it's admin. Okay, 9 to 10, I'm going to do my purchasing. Done. And maybe it's 10 to 11, I'm going to do my Facebook. I'm going to check my Facebook. 11 to 12, and then again at 5 to 6. But outside of that, I don't touch it. What does it do? It helps you prioritize, and it helps you focus on certain tasks, but also as well, it really helps you get results. You know exactly what you want to do. You allocate the resources for it. And the majority of the time, the resource is your time. And then you can achieve much better success. I think one of the things I'm picking up from you right now is and hey, so common, honestly, so common. I work so much, but I don't really actually understand what I'm doing.
I hate it. Yeah.
And I think that'd be really super, super important. So allocating your time in your calendar, being very clear and concise about what you're trying to achieve. And it might be like, let's say, for example, this way, your goal right now is to get out of Amazon UK, outsource it. And we'll go on to how we outsource it in a second. It might be like, right, I'm going to write the standard operating procedure or the procedure for my admin VA on how to do reclaims. And I'm going to do it in these 2 hours and then tick. That's it. Or maybe I'm going to plan out everything my admin VA needs to be done in the first 2 hours. And then once I've done that, I'm going to spend another hour scheduling all the tasks, all the time that I need to write out the job, the to-do list for her after that. And then once that's done, I've planned it all out. And once that time's finished, I've now got every single manual she needs. And that's done by like 3 days time. Tick, 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 done. And your job every single day is just to turn up and do it.
Yes.
How does that sound to you?
Much better. I'm all over the place. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I do doing all over the place, multiple tasks.
I'll bring it back. One thing that you might do, and I'm just going to bring back to your why. Why not share it on social media? Every single day, share what you're doing for that day.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, feedback. It's content. Gary Vee says it, document, don't create. Number 2 is the fact that you're living that journey. Number 3, my God, you're documenting it and you're going to do the same thing in America and you'll be like, just copy that day again.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay, so time is your big issue. So let me just ask you the question, and I'm just going to come on to structure right now. You've talked about VAs already, and I want to kind of wrap this up because I appreciate people might want to ask some questions. So we'll try and wrap it up now, and then I'll kind of do a summary of like actions and going forward. You talked about like VAs. Tell me a bit about like your structure, or what are you doing at the moment? You've got something going, outsourcing?
Yeah. So Prep Center is in, got a folder for the Prep Center. I've got a folder for the admin VA, sourcing VA soon to come on, purchasing manager soon to come on. I'm just creating structures within each of them folders and then video tutorials, and then putting it all on Asana at the same time. So that's sort of what the majority of my time spent doing at the moment.
Okay. And if I have to ask you, when's that going to be finished by?
It's got to be done by Monday because that's when the admin one's got to be done by Monday because that's when she starts. Cool. The others, end of January, I want to have a purchasing manager and a sourcing VA.
Quick question for you: do you have any sourcing VAs already?
No, but I've already got the whole structure because I've had them in the past. So I've got everything lined out ready, just to plonk one in it.
And if I ask you, the question I'll probably ask is, let's just go through, I have my recommendation, but I want to kind of understand what you think first is, what does your team look like when you are at that, this is my team, here's how it operates. You've got an admin VA, purchasing manager, how many sourcing VAs?
Just one, and then I've got deal sheets as well.
Okay.
For now.
One purchasing manager, one sourcing VA.
I think that's enough for the UK, but I'm not sure the size that I want to get to.
Quick question, 4K profit, what revenue do you think you'll need to do to achieve that?
Consistently 30 maybe.
30K? Okay, fine.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So your spend is going to be about 15K per month on stock. Each VA is going to have to pull in what, 4K roughly? 4K of deals per week. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got deal sheets as well, but yeah.
Do you currently spend 4K a week at the moment?
No.
How much do you spend?
Sorry.
How much do you spend on stock per week at the moment, on average? Outside, it's a bit skewed in Q4.
Yeah, it's a bit skewed in Q4, but I've never really thought about that. It's probably not as much as I think. It's probably only a couple of grand a week. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, thinking about it, it's strange. I've never thought about that before. It's probably only 2,000 or 3,000 a week, if that.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I asked that question is because a sourcing VA, if I put it in my business, we might get £1,000, £1.5 grand. We might actually get a lot more sometimes, a lot more. But if you just typically put it in spend, we do more than £1,000. I've completely forgotten how much we spend. I've really actually completely forgotten how much they spend. It's been so long since I've looked. I should know this. The idea is I just 16. Oh my god, I should know this figure. I really don't. I think for what you're trying to achieve, I think maybe one more VA, but run it on one and a purchasing manager, see how it goes. But you might need to do another one. I think the question is two sourcing and one purchasing. Now,
right.
My advice for a purchasing manager is straight off hire 2 sourcing VAs. And what you're looking to do is you're trying to find a sourcing VA who can analyze deals the same as you, the best. Mm-hmm. If they can understand, if you really want to fast track it, I recommend 3 months.
Okay.
It takes about a month to kind of start getting up to a bit of speed, a month to get better, and then after 3 months they're up to full speed. And what you're looking to do is to have, out of the 2 of them, which one analyzes deals best. You don't care if they're better at finding deals. That's not the criteria. The criteria is, out of the deals that they both send you, which one matches, which ones are you saying no to the least. So if this is like 5 no's and this is 1 no, even if this is doing 20 deals and it's doing 2 deals, they're getting the better deals. And then what you want to do is, as a metric, is then get the one who won't, the one who's better at analysing, they're most likely going to be your purchasing manager, get them to analyse the other VA's deals. And as a result, you're then going to see, do they understand you? And if they understand you, then what you're trying to do is outsource. And as a result of that, you need to understand if they fully understand the way you work.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can do it in 3 months. And by 3 months, you'll know if you trust them because you know how well they'll work and everything. You built their relationship. And your whole focus is about building a relationship with them. Communication, understanding. That's it. So I think you said it, admin VA in January. If I just put it...
She's starting Monday, admin.
Start Monday. Okay, fine. So I'd probably say give it Christmas is a busy time. Give it 4 weeks for her to settle in. Give her lots of love. Like, you want her to be part of the team. Celebrate every single success that she has. Everything that she does well. Oh my God, that's great. You are saving my life every single day. Wow. And then I would say probably in January, mid-January, 2 sourcing VAs straight away. Get them to find you deals. They can analyze the deal sheets for you if you want. Lots of people do it. And the idea is find the one which analyzes deals the best, and then they become your purchasing manager.
Right, and then keep the other one. Fantastic. How did I not think of that? Well,
so if I talk about purchasing manager, I'm going to give you a bit of a hint, a trick. If you're going to do it over a month period, so we're talking mid-March, April now, is to say with your purchasing manager, what you really want to do is to, number 1, get them to build all the baskets. So they're analysing deals, fine. They build the baskets. They do everything other than physically put the cards in. And then you put the payment in, maybe for the first 2 weeks. And then they do all the administrations, deal sheet, saving it all, etc. So, saving all the stuff in your buy sheet, put it in. You want to get them perfect on the administration because if they get the administration wrong, it's money lost. So get the first 2 weeks, everything really done. I'd probably recommend a month, but you want to sound like you're fast tracking it. So really get them to push to do all the purchase, not the purchasing, everything but the physical purchase, put it on. And then thereafterwards, then my advice would be, once you're happy, you then probably do 2 weeks whereby they do the whole process and you're watching them. And then the way I did it with my purchasing managers, for the next month thereafter, they made the purchases, but we sat down for an hour every day and we went through all the purchases after they'd purchased them. So if I wasn't happy with any purchases, they would go back and cancel them.
Got it.
But the idea is to say, what we're trying to do is we're trying to, number 1, sourcing VA, you understand my deal criteria. Cool. Let's get you into analysing the other VA's deals. Cool. I'm happy with that. After you've done that, then you go into purchasing manager, which is you can do all the administration behind it, but you're not making the payment. Then it's you do the payment and you get the administration right. I'm happy watching you. And then I'm letting the trust off a bit more. You're now doing the whole process, but I'm reviewing the deals afterwards. And if anything goes wrong, we can still cancel it. And then after that, you're like, I'm pretty much happy.
Wow.
And remember, you want to be spending earning £4,000 a week, 16 grand a month.
Yes.
That's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions about that?
No.
Do you want me to summarise?
Go on.
My advice to you is probably get to the 4K as soon as possible. I've written that down here. Stop doing Amazon USA. It's not helping you. It's slowing you down. Plan your time. Do a time audit. Plan your time. Really write it down in blocks. Get your admin VA in place. Oh, document the whole journey. Document it. This is going to be your YouTube. It's going to be your Facebook. It's going to be everything. Then get your admin VA in place. Get them stable. Don't rush it. I think you have a tendency to rush things.
Everything.
Too much. Just literally put a date in your diary. I'm not even going to think about hiring a VA until this date.
Okay.
And your job is that by this date, and literally, might be the middle of January, your admin VA is signed off and they are 100% on their own. And what you might do in January, you might say, look, I'm going to leave you alone for a week. And then in a week's time, I'm going to come back and do an audit on all her work. And if she's passed that audit, okay, cool. Then you go hire a VA. But if she hasn't, you realize she's not ready yet. One thing at a time. And then hire your 2 VAs, get them checking, then go through the whole purchasing manager process. And hey, the big question you're going to ask is about achieving the results is, can they buy enough deals for you? And we talked about 4K a week. That's the metric of success you're looking at.
Wow.
Make sense?
So much sense.
Cool. And then you probably want to say, look, maybe we might have another call just about bringing the hours down. Time's a big issue, but right now it seems like you're very happy to work 55 hours a week. Use every single one of the 55 hours a week, drive your business forward, get the team in place. And once the team are in place, then you can cut the hours down.
Yes. Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Should we open it up to everyone else? I'm going to look at some comments.
Wow. It's the first live I've ever done without looking back at messages.
I know, it's scary. Can I just say, before I read all the comments, Hayden, thank you so much for sharing during that. I just, for me, and I know no one else is live on this, I just want to say thank you, honestly. Thank you, because this shit's scary. It's scary about being open. It's scary about saying what your business is and opening yourself up. And hey, you're talking about other stuff that you want to do outside of Amazon, and that's like talking to your why. So thank you, honestly, and I think everyone else can, take from that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, mate. I've never seen, this is the busiest live I've ever had, for sure. There's it's been consistently about 45 people, which is crazy for a small group. Any questions, chuck them in if you're happy to them, Thomas.
I'm grabbing them.
Moment, do you want to do this, or do you want me to?
You do it. I've talked too much.
Let's have a look. I'm looking for actual. Yes, there's no questions at the top.
He spends 30 days a minute calling me. I love it.
Lorraine says, great summary, makes so much sense. I'll be applying the same advice in my business. Luke says, what an amazing live, class act. If you've got any questions, everyone, chuck them in. Anything that's sort of related to you that you want to ask that perhaps I didn't ask. Someone said, I have 2 sourcing VAs, exactly what I'm trying to do. Get one of them to think exactly like me and become my purchasing VA. So glad someone suggested it. It's a good idea. You got any comments on that, Tom? No.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the first question is before you try and change them, understand which one is closest aligned to you. Hence why we're doing which one gives you the most which one gives you the least number of bad deals. That's what we're after, because it's easy to change someone who already kind of understands you than someone else. So first of all, who's aligned towards you? And then the question comes is, and I would do this again, and I do it with my purchasing manager, is every time you find a deal which is bad that they send you, don't tell them. Do not tell them what's wrong with it. You look at the deal yourself, see where you wouldn't buy it, and ask them questions around that. So let's say, for example, the sales per month aren't enough. It's not selling well enough. And it might not be as simple as, just sales per month. It might be the competition sales per month. Just sit there and go, okay, quick question, what's the sales per month? Okay, they're 10 sales a month. Okay, cool. And how's the competition? Oh, there's 6 sellers. Okay. And how many are on the buy box? Oh, 4 of them. Okay. And quick question, how much stock have they got? Oh, they've all got 400 units. So quick question, if we join that listing, how many are they going to be able to sell? And she'll be like, oh, you need to get that realization. Telling people isn't the answer. It's getting them to realize it themselves, and asking a question does that. So top tip there.
Right. Janet says, what a fabulous session, Hayden. You've been so open and honest. And Thomas, your advice and suggestions were really informative. That's lovely. Sorry, I thought that was a question, but it ended up being a lovely compliment. Thanks, Janet. That's really nice. Lorraine says, what is the best way to measure purchasing VA's performance?
I would probably look at it in regards to, well, my purchasing manager does it in regards to net profit, or you call it gross profit for the business. That's all we're after. They're going to make bad deals. You could look at good deals to bad deals. We don't really care. At the end of the day, what do they directly influence? Profitability, and I just do it off that. Okay. We incentivize them off profit and purely profit, nothing else.
Okay. Simon says, would you recommend to get 2 sourcing VAs and 1 admin at the same time of doing sourcing first?
No. Short answer. Why? They're different. And I said it to Hayden. It's the same as Hayden doing UK and USA at the same time. You're splitting your time. And you know what? Your admin VA needs some love. They need your guidance. Maybe the guides you've written aren't that great because it's the first time you've done it. If I give you a quick run through with my admin VA, and I think I've talked about it before, I did a 4-week process. I had the whole plan written down. I documented everything. We spent 4 hours every day for the first 2 weeks going through everything. Number 1, I got her to watch the video in advance. I went through it. Second week, she then watched what we recorded in the last session and went back through. And then she did it and I watched her. Then I got her to go away and do it in week 3. And I just came back and checked the results. Week 4, I didn't do anything. And then week 5, I came back and had, here is the actual what we're looking to achieve. And I basically did a KPI checklist, i.e. I said, right, here's what I'm going through, here's what I'm checking, and here's what I'm expecting to see. Have you done it? Yes, good. And again, I'm looking at the results. It's first of all is, here's what I want, here's how to do it. And then after 4 weeks, 5 weeks actually, it was getting the result. That was a huge amount of effort, absolutely huge. And I had to do that twice because that was quite recently, about 6 months ago. And then once that's out of the way with, admin VA is done. She doesn't need any more love, an hour a week. Mine takes an hour a week. That's it. It's just moving money around. And then quite simply, then you can focus all your time on your sourcing manager, sourcing and developing them up. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's my, is that, sorry? Yeah, it's Aaron and Lauren. I love that.
Aaron, thank you very much.
Oh, there we go. What's the next question? Colin, when do you recommend to implement a VA in the business, doing mostly RA and want to add OA and a VA on the side?
With RA, it's very difficult. You can obviously do admin VA to a certain extent, but your question is probably not enough hours. I mean, I have one full-time admin VA and she manages all the shipments, and we're doing like 70k a month. And then also as well, she does payroll across both businesses and she runs the accounts of both businesses. And she does the bookkeeping for both businesses, and she's full-time, by the way. So it kind of shows you that admin VAs full-time you probably don't really need unless you're doing a lot of stuff. But if you want to add in OA, I think the question comes to you is, if you just want extra deals and you've got the time to go buy them, if I come back a second, if you've got money and you don't have enough time and you can't find enough deals RA, cool, go to OA. But if you've got money and you can find deals in RA, keep buying them until you literally cannot spend the money. Then get an admin, again, get a VA OA and buy their deals. Allocate maybe an hour a day. That's it. I'm just spending an hour a day purchasing my VA's deals, OA, and using that extra cash that I can't do in my RA. And then eventually you're going to start going, well, that hour I'm spending, the profit I'm making that from 1 hour, even including the cost of my purchasing or sourcing VA, is making me more profit than each hour I spend in my RA. And then what you'll do is you'll slowly start decreasing the amount of RA you do and spend more time buying RA deals. And that's not so much that OA is more profitable, but it's the fact that because it's so much quicker, more efficient in time, and if you can buy volume, then you got to look at it per hour worked, not just pure profitability, because your time is your biggest resource. In Hayden's case, 55 hours. Minus.
Not recommended.
City faddling around.
Yvonne said, Tom, I think that's Tom. Tom, yep. How many hours a day do you work on your business?
You do not want to know. Let's put it that way. Amazon business, I will not lie, 2 to 3 hours a week. And if I break it down, I have 1 hour with my purchasing manager on a Monday. That's My time to talk to him, what's going on, what are the problems, what do we need to get fixed, and what does he need to do. Number two, second hour is admin VA. Literally, she runs through with me, Tom, here's the bank accounts you need to go to, and I move all the money around. She tells me what I need to pay off on the credit card. She does my cash flow. Done. That's a process. And obviously asks me any accounting related questions, and she deals with accountants. And then the third hour, this is where I add value. I do coaching with my purchasing manager, because my purchasing manager runs everything else. And my whole point is about, like, what are you struggling with? What's your problem? And how can I help you get there? And it's not about me telling him the answer. It's about helping him get the answer and figuring it out. That's 3 hours. And we do that on a Wednesday. And in regards to me, if you want to know, Fast Track FBA takes all my life. I currently do 10 hours a week of YouTube filming, which is like a lot. And that's just YouTube, like content creation, filming. If you want to know, it's 10 hours a week on YouTube, 10 hours a week on the other two businesses minimum, but I actually spend probably 55, 60 hours. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning most days. And if it's YouTube, sometimes 3 a.m. to start filming.
Wow.
Yeah, early starts.
What are you paying your different levels of VAs?
So with our VAs, we do 25k for the sourcing VAs, and then purchasing manager, you go up. So like 30k, 30,000 pesos and above. But for me, the way I look at it is I don't really want to pay a high base. I want to pay a standard base and a good bonus. I want to incentivize on that bonus. That's it. And the reason is I want them to earn so much money that they'll never want to leave, nor could they afford to leave. But I want to do that because they're adding value to the business. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't pay my purchasing manager much more than the other VAs.
Darren says, where's the best place to source an admin VA?
Oh, I'd like to say us. We'd like to do it soon. I really would like to. We can do the hire for an admin VA, but we can't do the training right yet. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Darren, I've got an admin VA from someone recently. So obviously, once that's tested out, then I can obviously recommend you. Once, seems to be going great at the moment. So, okay, awesome. Anyway, I think that's all the questions as far as I can see. I don't know if you can. It's all the questions that have popped up on mine. Thank you, everyone, for the lovely words as well. I hope this has been really valuable for some people. It certainly has for me. Thanks so much for that, Thomas. I'm going to watch this over again on my own without the pressure of someone else, and actually take it in on a deeper level. What's been said, but it's been something. It's been really thought provoking and interesting.
And I think the big thing for you, if I kind of leave you with anything to think about, is you really define where you are and you want to go 5 to 10 years time. I would probably make it a bit more realistic and, not saying realistic, just short term. 1 year, here's where I want to be. And actually, you're not. We talked about it like June this year. You can be done starting in the USA. Break that down month by month, and then just say, my job is to get one thing done. That's it. You said it yourself already. You have a tendency to do too much at too many times. Yeah. So even if the social media takes a back seat for the moment, and I'm not saying completely back seat, but maybe your YouTube content creation, you want to do loads of cool stuff, you might go, look, you know what, screw all that. I'm going to do only YouTube content creation on my journey of admin VA this week.
Got it.
Then what you're doing is you're aligning, you're documenting exactly what you're doing, and you're being super time efficient. And as a result, you achieve where you want to be in your UK business much quicker. You achieve your USA business much quicker. And then you can really spend that extra time smashing out your social media rather than taking all 3 businesses taking so long. One thing, clear it down, clear it down, clear it down. Focus on one thing, get it done. Next one, one thing, get it done.
That's very right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it a lot. Obviously, you're in the group, so if anyone else has got any questions, then obviously I'm sure Thomas is happy to answer them in the group. If you just give him a little tag. Thank you so much, Thomas. It's been honestly really, really good. And maybe we'll get you on again in the future. But thanks everyone for joining the live, and I will see you all very soon.
Cool. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.